So if there's one thing which British people love, and I mean love, to talk about, it is, of course, the weather. So I got the idea for this video when I recently had a visit from a builder who came to do some work. I've recently moved into a new flat, and of course I have needed a few bits of work done by a builder. And I'm very awkward with small talk, much like many British people. And the one thing that we always seem to resort to is the topic of the weather. The first tip I can give you is when you come to the UK, always be aware of what the weather is like. Now that should be easy because 9 times out of 10 it is raining, it's cloudy, it's miserable and dark. Maybe we get 1 week of summer weather every year, 2 if we're lucky, but generally it's kind of cloudy, so it shouldn't be too hard to remember this. Anyway, this builder, he came into my flat, which I've recently moved into, and we did the usual, you know, all right, how are you, how's your day been? And then we got to this kind of awkward silence moment. Of course, I started the conversation by saying, it's a miserable day today, isn't it? And just listen to my pronunciation firstly with this. It's a miserable day today, isn't it? So what I've done there is I've used something we call a question tag. Now a question tag is when we add a question on the end of a statement to turn it into a question. It's kind of like a question, but it's like we're saying something and we want someone to agree. So I said to this guy, it's a miserable day today, isn't it? It was a way to start building a conversation, okay? So we use the weather a lot here to build conversation. We do use words like miserable, depressing, you know, kind of feelings or moods to express how the weather looks. And the reason why is because we talk about the weather so much here that just by saying, it's raining today, you know, that's kind of boring. We like to make it sound a bit more interesting, or else we'd be having the same conversation with everyone all the time. So we need to have kind of more adjectives and more expressions that we can use. So today I have just a few for you, a few useful ones about different types of weather which you can use in your IELTS exam, with your friends, when you come to the UK, if you live in the UK, whatever your situation is. So when it's cold, a very common word which we use is the word chilly. Firstly, let's look at the pronunciation of this. We have the short I sound, which is commonly mistaken for the long E sound. We have this situation of ship and sheep. Well, in this situation, chilly, okay, chi. So what you need to do is lift your tongue slightly just behind the top teeth, just kind of around the bottom of the top teeth. And you should feel this I. Look at the shape of my mouth, I. Chilly, chilly. Now if it's chilly outside, I'm not talking about the noun, which is the red or green spicy thing which we eat with a lot of Asian food or curries and things like that. I'm actually talking about the weather. So if it's chilly outside, that actually means that it's kind of a little bit cold. Okay? It's not really cold, but it's pretty cold. If I want to take it to another level and I really want to over-exaggerate, which is something which British people also love to do, we love to exaggerate, I could say that it's freezing outside. Now to freeze something is to turn it to ice. Even if there is no ice outside, I could still say that it's freezing today. So this is a situation where we have the E sound. Remember I said about ship and sheep. Well, this one we could do chilly, where we had that I for when it's quite cold, chilly, I, and freezing. They should sound very different. One's long, E, freezing, one's short, I, chilly. So compare those two, pause the video if you need to. So if it's freezing outside, then that generally means that it's really cold, okay? But remember, we do love to exaggerate. Don't always take things we say too seriously. That's the best advice I can give you. My recommendation is to go to a thesaurus and look at adjectives and different ways of using the word cold or freezing. And you'll always find a word that you can use to describe the weather outside. Now, if it's raining, we have many different expressions that we can use here because we need them, because we're always talking about rain. So when it's raining, it's cold, the clouds are dark. Like I said before, we could say it's miserable, it's depressing. It's gloomy, which means it's very dark, gloomy. Look at my mouth, ooh, gloomy. However, we also have a lot of expressions which we use to talk about the rain. I could say it's tipping down. Remember that sound? Tipping, tipping. So if it's tipping down today, then that means it's heavy, heavy rain. Okay, so imagine someone has a bucket. We went like this, we would be tipping or pouring the water. So imagine someone is in the sky and they're tipping water on you. So it's tipping down, it's pouring down. We use the preposition down because it is falling down from the sky. It's not going sideways or up, is it? It's going down. And if you want to be extra rude, extra slangy, then you could use the word pissing. You could say it's pissing down today. When it's not raining very heavily, we would call it drizzle. Drizzle, drizzle. Now we're going to talk about the hot weather. So much like when I said freezing for when it's cold, I could use something similar, which is the opposite of freezing, which would be boiling or burning. Okay, so you could say it's boiling today. And when we boil something, it's like when we boil water in the kettle for a cup of tea. We make it get so hot that it starts bubbling, right? So it's boiling today. So look at the pronunciation of that. We have a diphthong in here, which is a combination of two vowel sounds. Oi. It's boiling today. It's boiling today. A few others we use, scorching or scorching. Quite a difficult word there. Now, if it's scorching today, that just means it's really hot, almost burning. Now, usually when it's a hot day, when it's a nice sunny day, we'll often say, it's a nice day today. You could even say, it's a lovely day today. If you're feeling even extra happy about the weather, you could say, it's a beautiful day. It's a fantastic day. You can use so many words to describe lovely weather. And just remember, with that adjective, what we tend to do with pronunciation is we like to make that word more stressed in our sentence. So if it's a lovely day, instead of saying it's a lovely day, I need to not sound like a robot or like a bored person. I want to make that word lovely sound like it really is lovely. So I would say, it's a lovely day today. It's a lovely day today. So we take that tone up a little bit more and add a bit more passion. It's a lovely day today. Okay, so the tone needs to go up. There's one more thing I wanted to talk about, which is a type of weather we don't get much here in the UK, but I'm sure lots of you maybe do in your countries, which is what we call humidity, or when it's humid outside. Now this is when the air around you, the air we're breathing and the air that touches our skin outside is very hot. It's warm and it's like nothing is cool, everything's hot, right? Now there's a word we use over here, which is, we will often say it's sticky outside. It's a bit sticky today. And sticky refers to the fact that this hot air generally makes our skin feel a bit sticky, our clothes stick to us, and we feel like a walking sellotape. It's sticky outside, which just means it's humid, sticky. So you've got the I and the E here, sticky. So they should both sound different, those two vowel sounds. Now there are lots more things to learn in terms of pronunciation and tone and stress when you're expressing your feelings about the weather or also just generally describing things. However, we would be here for a very long time. So what I recommend is, if you really do want to learn more about pronunciation, go over to etjenglish.com and you can join my very detailed pronunciation course. And you'll also join me on WhatsApp when you join the course. And you can send me voice recordings, I can send you voice recordings. We kind of become friends. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this lesson today. I will see you in the next video next week. Cheers guys, bye.